Welcome back, everybody. Nick and Trav. I'm Nick.
I'm Trav.
And this is Mechanicus. We're still down here, but we're going to do a mission for Row. Radiation burns. And let's get in it. Alright, let's get our boys in there. Let's see here. Do we want to bring a... Okay, so we got Vanguard and a Ranger. This reveals enemy statistics when dealing damage. Single target. This guy does energy. This guy does 4 to 6 physical damage with his carbine. But they're both 2 cogs to deploy. So I'm thinking 1 of each. And then 2 normal boys.
Sure.
And then we'll switch out our 5. Oh lord, we got like a fucking whole Rolodex over here. Alright, so we're gonna take that one. We're gonna flip that out. Let's see here. This is broken as fuck. Just straight up machine spirit for everybody. That's really good. Right. Let's do it. Lagos! Stable orbit achieved and maintained. My thanks, Quartermaster. I would remain in geosynchronous orbit for the duration of this mission. Fuel reserves are calculated. Continuous orbit profitable but not certain. Additional fuel acquisition recommended. Attention required. Troublesome news models. The tanks are nearly empty. Supplies are low. Far from sufficient. Problematic in the extreme. How can our supplies be low? We only just arrived here, Quartermaster. Warp transit, less than satisfactory. New report state cargo supplies vented to the void as a result of damage. Most unacceptable. Then what is our situation now, Quartermaster? Deploying armed force on hostile world is costly exercise. Logistically complex. Running costs for the Costas Mechanicus in orbit far from negligible. Crisis in isotropic fuel matter for the core reactors. Disappointment and frustration are flooding my neurovaults and require quarantining. I focused instead on solution. Can you present one? The Tomb of Erch contains strong traces of radioactive decay. Supplies of necessary materials present. Request acquisition before materials half-life is expired. Let's go to the temple of...
Sorry, what was that?
The Tomb is particularly welcoming, Magos. Are you certain it is worth the risk to go in? Our mission here cannot be fulfilled and the Costas Mechanicus has insufficient fuel to stay in a stable orbit. Very well. I hope the Quartermaster understands what missions like this cost. Cost of deployment less than value of resources required. Mission is mathematically justified. Well, when you put it like that.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. Let's go up. A series of metallic archways of tarnished and brutalist appearance line the passageway ahead. They appear to have some function, but what purpose they serve in a tomb is not apparent. Contempt. Stride purposely through the archways, fearless as a true sign of Mars. Caution. Dismantle the archways as the cohort proceeds. Time-consuming, but safer. Curiosity. Examine the first archway to see if it is a device, and if so, if it can be deactivated.
Curiosity.
First archway proves to be a form of energy projector, and the test priests ascertain that it can be overloaded with a simple bypass ritual. This tech right causes the device's circuits to burn out, leaving the tunnel of archways harmless and demonstrating the supremacy of the omnisci's sacred logic over the base cunning of the alien. 2 cognition points. Let's go. Alright, which glyph, left or right?
Show me the map. Okay, yeah, let's go the long way. Go.
Oh, you just want me to fucking deal with Necrons today, huh?
Oh no, I have to deal with like 4 whole rooms.
Hey, man.
Right.
You want the right?
Yep.
Necrons are hard to kill sometimes, okay? Hey, we all healed.
Didn't need it, but that's fine.
Alright, so we're taking the long way, huh?
Yep.
Cool. Warning. Presence has been detected. A sudden radiation spike has turned this part of Tomb into a dangerous hot zone. A pair of Skitarii lie in the zone. Evidently having been overcome by the rad levels, it is sacrilegious to leave them here. They're unrecovered, but the area may be too hazardous to do anything else. Cremate the dead. Burn the bodies, at least they will not lie here and rot. Bring back the dead. Attempt to recover the bodies. Commemorate the dead. Pray for the dead and leave them where they are. Remember the last time you burned the bodies? No, remember last time you made... Remember? Last time you burnt the bodies, we blew up.
No, that wasn't the... Well, technically there was an explosion, but it gave us CP. It wasn't a bad, reward or whatever. It was good.
Alright, well, you want to cremate?
Yes, yeah, assuming it does what it did last time.
Nope!
Okay, that's not what it did last time.
Over the bodies and sets them alight from the distance with gunfire. However, they did not expect the pocket of explosive gas, which causes a huge fiery blast and destroys the whole chamber. The cohort is clear of the explosion, but the nearby Necrons are immediately alerted of their location. By 2, Travis.
Ooh.
Look at this
All right,
map.
so we
We
won't
could
burn
have
bodies no
easily
more.
stayed so close to 1. It's the worst.
We normally run through it pretty quick.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. Fuck. Extra Necrons in battle. Ingenuity and observation above haste models. Apply intelligence. Solve problem. Erratic and illogical radiation readings are throwing off the cohort's ability to track the target isotopes. Spirituality. Pray for the Omniscience to intercode on your behalf. Attempt to fix the rad sensors, which is under science. Speed. Advance at full speed. Ignoring the erratic readings, it will take too long to fix the rad sensors.
Science.
Science it is. Hey, Blackstone! Cohort applies their tech lore to the rad sensors and determine the sensors are not the source of the problem, but a local source of radiation. They locate a cache of isotopic material, not the mother lode they're seeking, but still valuable. Let's go! Alright, glyph time! Left or right?
Right.
There we go, right? A single port designed for the Necron counterpart creature intrudes from the device. Hey! You healed the thing that didn't need to be... Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think anything's injured at this point.
Alright, let's go into our first encounter, I think. Alright, so it's to kill enemies. There's video 1 with that fucking spider dude. Okay. Spawner. Okay. So you're gonna go back here because you got a lot of movement. You're gonna go up here. You're gonna go up here. I was gonna say, let's bring the ranger out because he's got one arc armor, and these guys look like they got all their last weapons ready to go.
All right, man.
Alright, let's get started. Alright, so we've been talking a lot about Fire Emblem. Let's change the subject. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, we were talking off mic, and you didn't actually answer my question, so I guess, we were talking during our Illusion of Gaia episodes last week about our top 10 final bosses. Do we want to save that for maybe Illusion of Gaia, or do we want to talk about it here, maybe, or what?
No, we can talk about it here if you want.
Because I did mostly set up a list. I don't know if you did, but
I have not set up a full list, no. There has been much debate.
Okay. I mean, I'll admit mine is a little bit more intentionally trying to be a little different, just that way it's not just all like, I don't know, the Final Fantasy bosses or something like that, just for the sake of saying that. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can work on yours for next time or whatever, and maybe we could just go through mine, maybe.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good.
Sweet. Okay, so I guess unofficial top 10 for Trav here. So I thought this one was kind of fun to think about. So this is I'm going to put number 10, Clockla, which is the final boss from Sly 2 Band of Thieves.
Okay.
I'll explain myself, but I was curious initial reactions.
So I never played the Sly Cooper series.
None of them?
None of them. I understood and watched many times. I watched some playthroughs, but I myself have never experienced that series as I was going to say as a human being, but I mean, let's be real, you know.
You're not?
Yeah, I'm not a human being. Lupus has changed me.
It is something else.
Yeah, I have something else now.
Okay, so that's interesting. Especially, I love those games, but go ahead.
So go ahead and walk me through what this boss is.
Okay, so I guess this will need a little bit of backstory then. So you have the first game, which is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. So you got this whole band of thieves, which are all raccoons, which is the Cooper family. They all have this book of, I don't know, I guess moves and tricks and stuff as far as like family legacy and like how to be a thief type of thing. Literally the first game is about this like owl type of thing, and basically I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. I forget what they call their gang, but they all like work together to like steal your family book, and it plays a lot more like the other 3 games are more its own thing, whereas the first game is, I guess, kind of Crash Bandicoot-ish or whatever, or maybe more like Spyro might be. You're kind of going around, like you kind of have a hub world-ish, I believe, and then you kind of go down these different branches of like, okay, we're going to go down this path, and we're going to, you kind of have your linear path going down to collect stuff, but go through the level, and then, kill stuff along the way, figure out how to get over the fence or whatever might be in your way, and then you end up eventually at a boss, you fight him, and then you recover a page from your book, and then you like learn a skill, and that's more or less how the first game goes. And the final boss is the owl, the Clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember why. There's some background as to why he hates like your lineage or your the Cooper family. I don't remember the whole deal with that. It's been a very long time since I played the first one in particular. But you go through this whole thing. You're in this final boss in the first one, and you're like basically using a jetpack and you're like shooting at this thing on top of a volcano. It's interesting little set piece. So he's shooting stuff at you, you're shooting at him. Eventually he goes down and you see him basically burning up in some lava in a volcano. So the second game kind of ends up in its own style. It's a lot more, the first one is like a Spyro game or whatever. This one falls into its own thing where you basically, that first game you were all Sly Cooper, which is the raccoon. He's got like a cane that he uses as a weapon. He's smacking stuff. And then the second game you have, it's even called a Band of Thieves, and it's a lot more interesting, or at least diverse, because you have your partners from the first game that you can now play as, which is you got your little turtle friend named Bentley, shoots crossbow, and he's smart, and he's your gadget guy. And then you got a pink hippopotamus called Murray, and he's like your brute. He go punches things, he do. And then it's kind of the same setup where you have like 5 enemies or bosses or whatever that you're working on, but instead of just like going down these branching paths, you are working on stealing something from them, which is a piece of clockwork, because you find out that like all these guys are trying to bring back clockwork from the dead, because there's all these pieces that they've, I don't know, I guess basically just a robotic version of him. I think there's only like there's like pieces of them that are real that they end up putting in a robot at the end, and that becomes like the final boss. But each round or whatever is basically you're doing a bunch of setup missions for like a heist at the end of that act or whatever before you fight the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the very end, and it's through all 4 games, but at the end of the second game is where you have this thing that already hates your family, and now you've burned it up, and now it's a robot because of you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a big, huge set piece on this great, grand, like, I don't know, blimp airship thing or whatever. That basically like is when all this comes to a head and the thing gets put together. It comes to life. It wants revenge on you, and so you're just doing this great big duel in the sky sort of thing where you're shooting it down, and then you're literally just hopping to like points on top of it, trying to get a chance to smack it and all this stuff. And so I really enjoy the gameplay of it, and B, kind of like, like I say, it kind of keeps coming up, but that was kind of like the end. Like there was killing it the first time, and then there became a second time of just like, we got to mess this thing up.
Mm-hmm.
And because it just wants to ruin your life. Like, that's its sole mission. That's the only reason that like it wants to be brought back to life, pretty much.
It just wants to end the Sly Cooper line.
Yeah, like it just hates you with a passion.
All right, I have a multitude of questions, but let's finish this up.
Sure. I realized you were waiting for me, so
It's
my
all
bad.
good. The cohort's rad sniffers are detected potential traces of the target isotopes. The trial leads through a half-collapsed series of chambers, crumbling under the weight of the shifted landscape overhead. It may be perilous to pursue, but could bring the cohort to their objective more quickly. Alright, so we got calculation. Survey the collapsed chambers before taking this route. It will not be quite as fast, but should mitigate the risk. Courage. Take the dangerous trail. It is worth the risk. Caution. Take another way around, and the mission will fail if the cohort is lost to the treacherous terrain.
We are courageous.
Son of a bitch.
Shit.
The cohort makes its way through the treacherous area and suffers injuries when their movements cause a secondary collapse that rains debris down on top of them. However, the sacrifice may have been worth it, as they emerge from the collapse having forged a shortcut towards their objective. Alright. Let's finish it up.
Go.
Alright, so you literally just gave me a fucking SparkNotes version of this game. And in my head, I always thought Sly Cooper was literally just fucking raccoons running around Ocean's 11 style doing the thing.
Well, I mean, like I said, the first one is a lot more of a general, like, I've seen this before type of game, whereas, yeah, the second, third, and fourth games are more its own style in that, yeah, it's an Ocean 11 of, like, yeah, you have your three buddies, and it's like, Sly Cooper is the one who actually sneaks around, he can steal stuff, so it's like he's the one who will go through vents and, I don't know, jump over walls and pickpocket. You got the turtle who, like, is tech, so he will, like, hack into the system. And you got Murray who's just straight up like, I'm just gonna go beat stuff up. And so, you know, everyone does their job to set up the big heist at the end of the thing. And yeah, I mean, what you said isn't inaccurate. That's a pretty good way of putting it.
It's just, from what I watched, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I watched a lot of speedruns of that game because it's very interesting to see speedrunning as a whole in those kinds of games where there's, you know, stealth mechanics and platforming and interesting gadgets, and like, from what I remember watching, there's from your description, there's a fuck ton of more shit that I am not privy to. And that's cool, you know? It's interesting to see that kind of stuff. God damn it. Should have clipped that asshole. I gotta waste a fucking arc bolt on this bitch. The fuck nerd.
So are you talking just story-wise, or are you just even like what I'm talking about, like as a whole, like you just weren't aware of a lot of stuff that I'm talking about?
I just wasn't aware.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I didn't know he had a whole, like, familia and shit moving with him.
Yeah, that's actually what the third game is about. Or, no, fourth game? Yeah, that one's called Thieves in Time, and that's kind of like a similar thing, I believe, like, you go through different time zones, like, different periods in time of your ancestors, because they're trying to, like, erase your lineage through time travel, I guess, if I remember correctly. So you get to kind of see some of that a little bit more directly. But yeah, that's the whole thing. Is the Cooper clan, as it's called, is a big huge lineage of thieves, and like I said, the first one, that's how you get your skills, is through the pages of the Thievius Raccoonus, is what it's called.
The Thievius Raccoonus.
Yep, that's the book, baby.
It just sounds hilarious.
But yeah, I think they're fantastic games. I love the Ocean's 11 heist setup stuff anyway, so that's just perfect for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's more I could kind of get into, story-wise, because the second one, like I said, they all like involve clockwork, or at least have a mention of them. Mm-hmm. But the second one is kind of like where you really take them down. That's the revenge mission, and so it's just kind of going all out. And I think I kind of like it too, because the whole game is building up to this. It's like, oh crap, like, it's also kind of weird too, because each boss, their section is basically, they're using different parts of the guy to do different things for themselves. Like, they're just bad people who, like, oh, I have the guy's heart, which is used to pump like spices or something. It's used as a pump for something. Mm-hmm. Another one uses like its feathers for like a printing press beam or whatever. So like you're using this whole game of like, I need to stop this or else this dude's going to try and fuck me up. And so you're trying to gather all these things, knowing what the end result already kind of is going to be. So I don't know. I mean, that's probably an unpopular opinion as far as being on a top 10 list, but I stand by it.
No, I wouldn't say it's an unpopular opinion.
I mean, like I said, I kind of went for slightly different stuff anyways. Like I wasn't just going to make it, all like Final Fantasy bosses or whatever type of thing that, you could potentially see on like everyone's top 10 list. So, yeah, maybe we'll do a Sly game. I haven't played one of those in a long time. In fact, that was we were dealing with the PS3 with my brother and I because I had moved out of the house and he was like, basically I wanted to take it with me to play those games, and he's like, well, but I want to play stuff too. So, he got to play his, so now it's time for me to play mine. Maybe we'll do that soon. I don't know, but in the meantime, we could. Oh, good.
They're not on PC or anything?
No, most of them were PlayStation 2 games, with the exception of the last one is a PlayStation 3 game, and I do not believe that they've come out on anything else. Like, I don't even think you can get them on PS4. So, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I feel like there's not as much interest in the game as, like, it's not a big, huge IP for Sony, is it? As much as I would like it for it to be.
I get you.
But we'll see. So yeah, that's my number 10.
Cool.
No, number 9. I'll spoil it right now. It's not the only incarnation of this boss, but number 9 is the Bowser from Mario 3D World.
Oh.
Especially in the game, or in a series littered with kind of generic, like, go hit the thing on the big red spot, and then that's kind of all it really is. It still kind of does that, but with a very fun, like, twist and a very urgent and very nice set piece, I thought. Because, I mean, the whole thing about 3D Worlds is it brought in the cat power, which is kind of like the big thing that they use throughout the whole thing. It gets you from place to place very, very nice, because you're able to climb up, you're able to kind of, like, I don't know, if you get some air, then you're able to, like, dart across platforms and all this stuff. And then you also got the double cherry, which if you pick that up, then you literally have like 2 of your characters, and for during the game, you would have to kind of like protect these extra guys to, collect more of the collectibles, or to do certain things. And so, like, all the new stuff that they did came to a head on this Bowser fight, which is, basically climbing up this big old, high rise, where eventually, as you keep going, Bowser ends up with the cat power. He ends up with cherries, so there's a ton of them, and he's just trying to rip and shred you as you're climbing up this building. Meanwhile, you've got the rain and the thunder and everything in the background. And yeah, I just think it's a really cool set piece, and it's it's not the most difficult boss. It's not the most, I don't know, it's not technically savvy or nothing like that, but I think it's a very cool way to end a game, and a very fun way to use all these new powers that, like, typically the bad guy doesn't get to use the powers or whatever. So yeah, I thought it was very fun. I really liked it.
I would agree with you on that. That's actually a really good point. Because he does use all the new mechanics. He does get the bell. He gets the cherries. He gets big. He gets small. And it's not just, hey, go punch him in the head 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that... Wow. That one actually, yeah, no. That's actually a good one. Huh. Alright. Fuck you, IGN. You shit.
Yeah, give you something to think about.
Wow. Well, okay. This is going to make my list a little difficult. Alright.
But yeah. So we've completed the mission now. So
Alright, so let's get this done. The cohort locates a cache of ingots forged from a rare isotope by some unknown Necron method. They are able to take this rare bounty back to the tomb entrance for processing into fuel for the Castus Mechanicus. You have your supplies. Is the fuel situation improved? The fuel is good. The rest, not so good. I anticipate further requests for action in maintaining mission optimal supply levels. Undoubtedly, no army survives without supplies. Supplies not in the habit of walking into our hold. And I am sure I will hear from you again soon, Quartermaster. Hey, we did it!
so good.
Yeah, we got a shit ton of Blackstone.
Melee's about to wreck too.
Ooh. Yeah, look at this bad boy. And on the machine spirit, it destroys armor. Awesome. Alright. So we still got the Void Admiral, which will make our servitors level 3, give us a new gun, power field generator, and some Blackstone. Its difficulty is hard. We still got Skull over here. New cognition game. I'm not gonna lie, dude. We need to do this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might want to just get that taken care of.
I'm starting to max out. Way too much.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Alright, well, next episode, we're gonna go ahead and do the works of the enemy. And that'll do it for today. This has been Nick and Trav. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. Tell somebody you love them.
And be good to each other. Love you, buddy. Love you all. And we'll see you next time.
Alright, adios, guys.
Bye-bye.